Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty fascinating, I think, and it's India's railway system.
Oh, cool.
And, we've got some excerpts here from an investment opportunity, but it's not just about the money, right?
Right.
What really struck me is what this tells us about India's economy as a whole. It's like if you hold this investment up to the light,
Yeah.
you kind of see India's whole future reflected back at you.
Wow, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
We often think about railways as just getting from point A to point B.
Sure.
But in a place like India, it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's really tied up with their whole economic growth story.
Absolutely. And the numbers they're just staggering. We're talking about a network that carries something like the entire world population.
Wow.
Every year.
Wow.
That's, 6.7 billion passengers in fiscal year 2024 alone.
Gosh.
I mean, that makes it the fourth largest network globally, which is already, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what does it actually take to move that many people?
Well, I mean, just from a logistical standpoint, it's a huge feat.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the coordination, the infrastructure you'd need to handle all those people day after day.
Yeah.
And it also shows how vital the railways are in connecting people across India, especially for folks who might not have other options for getting around.
Right. It's a lifeline for so many people.
Yeah.
And it's not just about moving people, is it?
No, definitely not.
They also moved over 1,588 metric tons of freight in that same year.
Yeah.
Which I think puts them in the top 5 globally for freight volume.
Yeah, that's right. And that really tells you something. It shows that India isn't just a place where people are buying stuff anymore. They're becoming a major manufacturing hub.
Right.
And to make that work, to support all that growth, you need a really strong transportation network.
You need the infrastructure.
And that's where the railways come in.
It really is fascinating how all these numbers tell a bigger story about India's economic progress.
Yeah, it is.
And speaking of progress, they've got this massive modernization plan in the works. I'm talking 2.62 lakh crore.
Wow.
I had to look that up.
Right.
It's over 31 billion US dollars.
Goodness.
Just dedicated to the railways in fiscal year 2024-25.
Wow.
So I'm curious, what kind of message do you think this sends, to the rest of the world?
Well, I think it's a pretty clear signal that India is serious about becoming a global economic leader.
Yeah.
They're not just trying to fix up old infrastructure. They're building for the future, investing in high-speed rail, redeveloping stations.
Wow.
Even, bringing renewable energy into the mix.
That's huge.
This isn't just about trains anymore. It's about creating a modern, sustainable transportation network that connects the whole country.
And that part about renewable energy, that really stands out to me. It seems like they're thinking long term,
Right.
Not just about growth, but about the environment too.
Absolutely. It fits in perfectly with India's broader goals to be more sustainable, to reduce their carbon footprint.
Right.
And using renewables in a system as massive as the Indian railways.
Yeah.
Well, that could have a really big impact.
Absolutely. And this is all part of a bigger initiative that we keep hearing about.
Yeah.
PM Gati Shakti.
Right.
I have to admit, I'm not totally clear on what that is.
Sure.
Can you break it down for us a little?
So, PM Gati Shakti is basically like a master plan for India's transportation network. So imagine you order something online, and instead of it going through all these different trucks and having all these delays, it travels seamlessly between trains and roads and even waterways.
Wow.
That's the vision of PM Gati Shakti. It's about making all these different parts work together.
Yeah.
Creating a unified system that optimizes logistics.
Right.
Gets rid of bottlenecks. And in the end, it really helps boost economic growth.
Okay. So it's about creating a more efficient system overall.
Exactly.
With the railways as a key part of that.
Exactly. And this ties back to their goal of reaching a $5 trillion economy. You simply can't get to that level of economic scale without a really strong and interconnected transportation network.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, our source material also mentioned a specific investment opportunity.
Okay.
The Grow Nifty India Railways PSU Index Fund and ETF.
Right.
So for our listener, someone who might not be a financial expert, what's the key thing they should know about this?
Well, the main thing to understand is that this isn't just about investing in trains.
Okay.
This fund actually gives you exposure to a lot of different companies that are connected to the railway system. So you're looking at infrastructure companies, logistics providers, even tech companies that are developing solutions for the railways.
Wow.
So it's a way to tap into the growth of the whole sector,
right,
not just one specific company.
So it's like casting a wider net, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Getting a piece of the whole pie as the sector grows.
Right.
What about the growth potential itself?
Right.
I remember seeing the term mid-cap stocks.
Yeah, that's right.
What does that mean?
So the portfolio leans toward mid-cap stocks, which usually have a higher potential for growth than, bigger, more established companies.
Okay.
Of course, there's also more risk involved.
Right, that makes sense.
That's just something that any investor should think about carefully.
Absolutely. So to sum up, we've gone way beyond just an investment pitch here.
Yeah.
We've seen how India's railway system is really a reflection of its economic ambition. It's a story of scale, modernization, and a nation that's really working to connect its vast landscape and its people.
Right. In
a way that drives both growth and sustainability.
It's a fascinating story, but it's still unfolding. We don't know exactly how it's going to turn out.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And that brings me to a final thought I want to leave you with today.
Okay.
So with all this rapid modernization going on, how do you think the railways are going to reshape India?
Right.
Both its urban and its rural landscapes.
Yeah.
In, let's say, the next decade.
Wow.
What unexpected consequences, good or bad, might we see? Could all this development lead to new challenges, or will it pave the way for an even more connected and prosperous India? Something to think about as we watch this story unfold.
Definitely.
That's it for today's deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Sounds good.